everybody. Good evening. It's getting kind of late, so I wanted to have the stream, especially so our friends across the ocean could still maybe join in. And I have my Quantum Mania breakdown all edited, and it will go up right after this. It's a long one, so I'm so happy that so many of you can join in. Thank you. It's funny. Let me just welcome people. Jamie, thank you for joining. I can see you're new based on your badge. And Dancing Dog 60 gifted 5 memberships, which was so sweet of you. I opened this up to all subscribers. If anyone is a subscriber for any amount of time, so if you hit subscribe right now, you'd be able to comment. I did that so that, we could really have a good discussion. And, Richard Thornton said, how is Grace going to rain on this parade? Well, I'm not raining on any parade. I just feel bad that you guys are being duped. I like you to know what's actually going on, and I don't like seeing you get your hopes up. Hey, Owen, and I just feel I'm pointing out to you what's actually happening, and I'm not saying Henry Cavill couldn't come back, but he's not back yet, and this is a promotional campaign. You guys think it's an official announcement, but like a lot of things that you saw this weekend, I've never seen such blatant promotion disguised as fan chatter for a movie. It was so blatant that I'm surprised that so many people didn't realize what was the promotional stuff. But a lot of you seem to think that some of it was legit. If you thought something was cringe this weekend, my pleasure, Jerry. If you thought something was cringe this weekend, it was probably a deal. Hey, iReady. iReady also gifted 5 memberships. That's a nice photo of you. All right, so the way it works is that for a live stream, for those of you who are new or haven't had a chance to participate, we're going to go through the 3 stories of the day. Please try to ask me things that are about what we're talking about, so that I can have a good stream of thought while we're discussing things. And at the end, for 10 minutes, you can ask me anything that you would like. I'm not necessarily going to answer it, but that's when you can just throw me any curveball you would wish. If you do a super chat, I will try to do it right away. Just like Resident Justice says, hi Grace, is DC Warner Brothers Pictures reposting Henry's post all over the social media part of the negotiations? Why would they repost and say he's back as well? Great question. I'm going to answer that because that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this as a live stream, is that I felt people had very legitimate counterpoints, and I can't do that on social media. So doing it in a live stream, we can actually discuss this. Trisha, I'm so jealous you're at the Grand Floridian at Disney World. Oh, I would love to be there next to you, although apparently you have a lot of people next to you because it's quite crowded. All right, so, hey Matthew. Oh, that's very sweet of you. I'm glad you like my glasses, Alex. I might be debuting a new pair of glasses in the next week or so. I have to think about it. I have to get my nerve up. They're very different, but I like them. All right, so anyway, a little movie came out this weekend called Black Adam, and Warner Brothers is promoting it as one would expect a studio to do. Although for some reason, a lot of fans, thanks Sihar, a lot of fans, Juan, you can't ask me that right now. I said all the songs sound the same. About Taylor Swift. All right, so anyway, a lot of you don't seem to understand very clear advertisements. So, before the movie dropped, they said, we're considering making Man of Steel 2. And that got all of you very excited. It got a lot of people very excited. That did trend on Monday of last week. And a lot of you, again, felt that was a legit news story. And then Dwayne Johnson is going around everywhere that he can talking about Superman. He's like, stay for the super cameo. Every single tweet and social media comment, he says there's something about the cameo, which I think is pretty crazy. Oh, Tanya gifted another 5 memberships. Thank you. That there's a 5-second cameo, and that's the entire discussion around this movie from the people who made it. All right, so they're like, I feel it's almost like they're like, hey, we realize that we should have made Black Adam versus Superman, so please don't make us lose the $300 million we spent on the movie that's come out. Because it was $200 million to promote it. I mean, $200 million to make it, another $100 million to promote it. So that's $300 million that Warner Brothers needs to recoup that Dwayne Johnson told them to spend. So they really want this to be a hit. So they're hitting you very hard, very hard. So they start out with the Man of Steel 2 carrot, and that worked out pretty well. But they didn't get great box office, right? So today, Henry Cavill comes in, as I said, it's like a bookending is a good way to describe it. So they bookend it on Monday, and they're like, hey, everybody, now Henry Cavill, because some of you insisted that if you discussed Henry Cavill, it would be ruining the cameo. So Henry Cavill could not participate. He wasn't at the premiere. He wasn't at the junket. So finally, Henry Cavill's like, okay, I can be part of the group. He comes in there, he talks about it, and he goes, hey, everybody, I'm gonna make this, I'm back. And, I think it's intentionally vague, which we're gonna talk about. I didn't even mark the story. I just got right into it. Okay. So anyway, so that's what's going on. So they're really promoting Black Adam. A lot of you are thinking Man of Steel 2, and that's certainly on the table. Okay, that's certainly on the table. But what's really at stake right now is Black Adam. I think they're worried that Black Adam's going to drop like a rock next weekend, and they don't want that to happen. So they're very nervous. They're very nervous, and they're really pushing hard because they want to make sure that people go and see it. Like if this thing just completely, has the bottom fall out from underneath it. Thanks, C-Rams. So how did this story break? Because I tweeted about it right before it broke. And by the way, for those of you who are like, oh, Grace doesn't want to see this happen, I tweeted about it. I fully expected them to announce a contract for Man of Steel 2 today. I had a source tell me, oh, something's about to happen. And I was like, oh, is it Cavill related? And they were like, pretty much. And I was like, oh, man, they're going to announce Man of Steel 2. So I tweeted out, and I was like, I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it. And I'm like, I heard that it was happening any second. I thought for sure they were, because here's the thing. If Black Adam had done really well, and this is another bit of evidence that it didn't do incredibly well opening weekend, it would have done so incredibly well that on Sunday night, they would have signed Henry Cavill's deal for Man of Steel 2. That's what a really good opening weekend would have done. And I thought that maybe that happened. I thought maybe, I did prejudge the scoop, Andrea. I did. That's the scoop game. That's the scoop game. Reese, I'm glad you could join today. So I was like, okay, but I was right. I told you it was a Henry Cavill. Every single thing that I've reported about this movie has been correct. Dwayne Johnson just confirmed a ton of it in the past week. So I wanted to get out ahead of this story, and then to my surprise, it was like it was a smoke screen when it went up. When Henry Cavill actually posted, he was just like, "Oh, I can finally talk about it. I'm so glad to be back. That's just a small taste of what's to come." I'm sure he and all of his management would have rather said Man of Steel 2 or Black Adam 2, starring Henry Cavill, is coming. It's next. You did it. I'm sure that's the announcement they would have preferred to make, but they didn't. They couldn't. Now, every trade in their coverage today, and every trade picked it up because Warner Brothers is using this as promotion. So every trade played along. So every trade has confirmed that he does not have a deal. Yet for some reason, some of you insist that he does. Everybody wants to report that Henry Cavill has a deal. Do you know what kind of, this story isn't getting the kind of clicks that people would like. If he had a deal, it would be big clickage. I'm telling you right honestly, I would love to report that Man of Steel 2 was a go. I'd love to report it, okay? I don't know how much money the movie's going to make, but it's going to be a hot topic if it gets approved. Resident Justice says, if DC Warner Brothers hasn't reposted the post and it was just Henry Danny, I'd be thinking it's just negotiations. I'm going to get to that, Resident Justice. Basically, they're promoting Black Adam, and Henry Cavill did not say anything that they can't walk back. He just said he's back, and he's technically back. He is back. He's back at the end of Black Adam. For some reason, I think that's what they're worried about. The first weekend's over, and suddenly you guys don't care about that. And also, he's in the upcoming Flash movie. But he has 2 cameos. That's it. Now, as the trades are confirming, Warner Brothers Discovery is thinking of making a Man of Steel 2, a solo project. They're considering it. Trisha, the advertising for Black Adam cost around $100 million. Any big movie cost about $100 million to advertise. So, Warner Brothers Discovery is okay with these teases because they're testing the waters. They want to really see if you're interested. This is very similar to what happened with the Snyder Cut. And, look at the number of tweets that it took and how many times it had to trend top 10 for that to happen. But so Warner Brothers Discovery is testing the waters. They're like, all right. Now, Black Adam opening weekend was not big enough to get that deal done, as I said. So they're still, I think the weekend 2 is very, very important. But yeah, so anyway, he also said a very small taste of things to come, which has a lot of you being like, that's it. A small taste cameo means a movie's next. I think he's trying to put out positivity into the universe of what he'd like to happen. And I think he wants to get you so jazzed up and so excited that Warner Brothers Discovery goes, yeah, we should do that. That's what it is. It's very similar, which is interesting because he didn't join the Snyder Cut campaign. But he's not above using it for his own self. So it's almost the exact same playbook. Now, the Snyder Cut campaign worked. So that's awesome. However, I'd like to point out that because Kevin Feige came in there and dropped his Quantumania trailer, at least in the United States, Man of Steel never trended, or Superman never trended, or Henry Cavill never trended higher than 10. He was just outside the top 10. I think if Quantumania hadn't dropped, it would have trended. But it didn't. It didn't. So I think right there, I think Warner Brothers Discovery is like, you got beaten by Quantumania, which has already had the trailer leaked and described for everybody copious amounts of times because they played it at Comic-Con and D23. And they're like, yep, that's what happened. So that's what it is. All right, so what's really going on here? They are promoting Black Adam. They want to make sure you go and see Black Adam. They don't want you to stop talking about Black Adam. But unfortunately, because they themselves have created only one talking point about the movie, it's hard to keep talking about Black Adam's 5-second Superman cameo for more than like about a week and a half. Unless they announce Man of Steel 2. They have not. This is just an empty promise. Eric, I think he's so married to Superman because it's the only thing he can get going. I told you, he's talked to Marvel, but he doesn't have an offer from Marvel. And I think, I don't know, I guess he's impatient. And I can understand that. I can understand him being like, let's get this train moving. I could wait. I could be sitting here waiting, on the bench for Marvel forever. And, I think he's so famous as Superman. I still don't think he's a great Superman, but, I think Homelander's, I've already made a whole video about how I feel about that. Huxler. Oh, I love your picture, Huxler. Fellow Amond fan. But yeah, so Henry Cavill is trying to pressure Warner Brothers Discovery into giving him a deal. Warner Brothers Discovery is playing along with it and going with their official accounts because they spent $300 million on Black Adam and they would like to get their money back. And they haven't promised you anything. They haven't actually promised you anything. Sure, you're going to get awfully upset, but you're already upset all the time anyway if you're in this camp. So they're just seeing what they can do. So if you really want to see Henry Cavill come back as Superman, you go see Black Adam again this weekend. Keep tweeting about it. You guys are still tweeting about Zack and the Snyder Cut. You need to focus on Henry Cavill. You need to make Black Adam at least break even. It has to hit like $700 million to break even. Do you know how far away it is from $700 million? Like, that's nuts. So, and it has very big movies coming out. So let's just see what happens. George Hernandez says, would Shazam ever team up with Superman to fight Black Adam? Not only would Shazam get his dream scenario, but we would get to see the Shazam fight his nemesis. That's great, George. I like that. I don't want to ruin too much stuff. There's a lot of tea out there. I'm not sure if Shazam... I heard that Shazam probably would be joining the Justice League in the near future, so maybe that's how he will fight. Luis, it did not trend in the United States. It might have trended for you. It might have trended in your country. But in the United States top 10, it never got higher than number 10. If you can show me a screen grab, you might manipulate it. I don't put anything past some fancies. Hey, Jeffrey, I'm so glad you could make your first live stream. But here's the thing. If it trended, I would admit it. I don't have a horse in this race. You know what I'm interested in? The reporting of news. So I don't really care what that news is. I just want it to be correct. It bothers me that you're kind of being manipulated. Very blatantly and aggressively. So that kind of bothers me. It's a little huckstery. So anyway, that's why it was on the official accounts. No contract deal. Oh yeah, that's what I have this other note. Here, I'll put the cherry on top of this sundae. Hollywood Reporter put this in their article. All right, so if you can't read it, hold on, I'll make it a little bigger. My pleasure, Resident Justice. Cavill wants fans to have fun with this image and video, with Instagram creators and fans encouraged to remix the video, audio, and photo assets for their Instagram reels. Cavill's favorites will be posted on his Destinations channel in the coming days. Nobody makes a movie announcement or a deal announcement and does it as a promotion and have you play around with it. It just doesn't make any sense. It's promotional. It's even in the trades. Even the trades were like, yeah, that's the word, Jose. Thank you. Activation. Trisha, did you have another super chat? Steven says, I think means you don't know. Why are you more credible than Cavill himself about Superman's future? That's a very fair question, Steven. I'm not saying that I am. I'm saying pay attention to what Cavill actually said to you. That's what I'm telling you. Trisha, did I miss? I met Trisha. Oh, do you think Wakanda Forever will crush Black Adam's debut, or will it be the same? Trisha, it's Black Panther's pretty far out. So I think we have to see, I don't know if Black Adam will have I don't even know if it'll still be going strong by then. It might be that matchup might never happen. But Steven, I'm not saying that I know more than Henry Cavill. I'm saying that Henry Cavill is intentionally being vague and you guys are playing into it. As fans, if you are tired of being played around, make these people to give you concrete answers. Like in a very sweet way, say, oh, that's so sweet. Do you have a Man of Steel 2 contract? Don't make assumptions. Don't do the work for them. That would be my advice. You do whatever you want. But that's just my advice. And I think that's how you can tell whether or not something's legit. That's how you can tell. So I just don't like you guys being lied to. That's right, Joanne. Fans are supposed to play into it. But I guess I don't like the mean playing into it. If you guys are just excited about it and happy, that'd be awesome. But, you're going around and you're just, not you. But there are some people who are, just running with it and to an unreasonable degree. Like, here's the thing. I told you, yes, did I tweet that they were never coming back? I said Ben Affleck didn't want to come back and that Henry Cavill would not be invited back because everybody hated him over there. And I was correct. However, at the time. However, when management changed and I found out these individuals were indeed both coming back, that hell had frozen over, I told you that was happening. I think you'd have a leg to stand on if I tried to not tell you that, but I reported it. I was in some cases the first to report it. So I'm just telling you how things are. Bo says, hi, Grace. Do you think Henry Cavill needs to keep the Superman title to get other work? No, I think that if he were getting other work, he would abandon Superman. Or he would have. He'd be like, I don't need this anymore. He'd be like, I don't want to do this. I think, I would personally love to see him over at Marvel. Oh, thanks, Jeremiah. Trisha says, imagine if Wakanda Forever makes Black Adam's domestic box office in one day. That could happen, Trisha. Let's just see what happens. Dimension says, Grace, do you think David Ayer's Suicide Squad will come out? I have to tell you, even just a week ago, I would have said never. However, and I guess you're right, I shouldn't say never. I guess I should say extremely unlikely. However, I think that Warner Brothers Discovery's current leadership is just so interested in getting their numbers up and their subscriber numbers up and getting rid of their debt that I think that there is always some possibility that they might be like, F it. Because I think a lot of us had felt that the new leadership would come in here and organize everything, right? They would come in here and they would get everything in order and they would stop playing around with everybody's emotions and they would pick a path and move forward. But they haven't done that. It's just almost, to be honest with you, it suddenly seems like the exact same boat we were in before. So, I don't think it's any better. That's right, Matthew. If Man of Steel 2 was happening, Henry Cavill definitely would have said so. He would have shouted it from the rooftops, and he wouldn't be doing an Instagram activation because he wouldn't need it anymore. The Instagram activation, by the way, that's right. The Instagram activation is to get you to keep talking about Henry Cavill's Superman and Black Adam. So when's he going to announce it? They said on Friday, right? Oh, in the coming days, just in time for the second weekend for Black Adam. That's exactly what they're doing. They're keeping this stuff in the conversation. If he was making Man of Steel 2, he'd say, I'm making Man of Steel 2, microphone drop, and he would go start working on Man of Steel 2 and be like, see you mofos in like a year or so. I'm so excited. He wouldn't be messing around with activations. Hey, Resident Justice, did you just rejoin? You joined. That's great. All right, does anyone have any questions about this before we move to the other two stories of the day? Thanks, Eric. My pleasure. Thanks, Adrian. Any tea? I am hearing, as I'll say in my Quantum Mania trailer breakdown, that I heard the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday trailer is this week, and now I heard from another scooper that it might be tomorrow, but I know it's this week. I heard from my own sources it was this week, but it might be tomorrow morning. Why back to back on that? It's clearly, I think Kevin Feige is, and also Black Adam's not doing that well. So it's funny to me that Kevin Feige would still hit it as hard as he possibly could. Tech Noir Video says, if this works and more people go see Black Adam next weekend, then that gets Man of Steel 2, I'm all for it. Yeah, exactly. And you would have done it, and you could be very proud. I just wish they would be clear as to that's what they were doing. Black Adam should be fighting Shazam, Jeffrey, but he's just not a big enough name to make, I think, it worth Dwayne Johnson's time. Hey, T.R. Kester, thanks for joining. Mohammed says, when do you think Warner Brothers will get back on track with DC? Dancing Dog wants to move on to the next story. That's funny, Dancing Dog. All right, we'll move on in a second. Elliot agrees. I think that they're not going to do it until they sell it, probably. They can decide to try and sell it in 2024. I think they clearly, they said this big thing about a 10-year plan, and it just, where is it? And they've already made such a mess in the past week or so that I don't even know how they could do a 10-year plan. All right, so yeah, let's get on to the next story. You guys are funny. I like this. This is interesting. Thanks for telling me to move on to the next story. Yeah, Duke, if you don't want to see more of this, don't go see Black Adam. Devin says, doesn't the studio realize that they have to manipulate the market for this much success that Man of Steel 2 is a huge risk? I would make Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill, to be honest with you. I think it's too risky. I don't think the audience is there, or I think this would have opened bigger. All right, where's the second story of the day? I gotta boop it, baby. All right, here we go. All right, story number 2. Boop. Oh, thanks, Owen. All right, so story number 2. That's right, Star Wars. They are making another movie. What? Who knows when the hell it's going to come out? Who knows what it's about? No one knows. This was a crazy story that dropped late last night, like late at night, after House of the Dragon aired. For some reason, I think it's the trades must have freaked. I think Deadline broke it. And Deadline must have been like, we must, because the trades feel the pressure too. They want to have scoops. So they were like, we got to post this. We got to post it. So they posted this crazy story late last night. And they were like, Damon Lindelof, Mr. Lost himself, is working on a secret Star Wars movie. And the director will be one of the directors from Ms. Marvel. And you're like, what now? So first off, you hear Damon Lindelof. Puck News broke it first, Mika. Oh, that's interesting. They wouldn't give him credit. If you're interested, the entertainment reporter, here's a little tea for you. The entertainment reporter for Puck News is Matthew Bologna, who used to be the editor-in-chief of The Hollywood Reporter, and I have to tell you, I think The Hollywood Reporter is a fantastic trade. Of the 3 trades, it's my favorite. And he built it into that, and then he got fired. So anyway, he went over to Puck News, and I told you all 3 trades are owned by the same company. But he's trying to carve him a place out for himself over at Puck News. And they're pretty good. I think Puck News has some good stuff, but they're behind a paywall. So they'll never be that big because they're behind a paywall. So I think that, the best thing they could do is drop the paywall. All right. So anyway, I don't know if Puck News broke the story or not. Hollywood Reporter said the Deadline broke it. And, that's the way movie news works these days. You guys certainly don't care who said it first. You just want to, discuss it. So anyway, so it broke late last night and it was a crazy story. So I think that Watchmen, as Marco just said, Watchmen was so good. I thought Watchmen was, thanks TR Kester. I thought that Watchmen was so good and so inventive and so playful with the source material, yet still respectful and authentic, that I'm like, let him do what he wants. I'm like, all right, Damon, you've re-earned my trust. Even though although Danny didn't like Watchmen. Who here liked Watchmen? Watchmen I thought was incredible. Although it didn't do that well because it never got renewed, unfortunately. Although I think they didn't want to come back, but they didn't want to come back because it wasn't big enough. I love Regina King. Alan Moore hates everything, Tech Noir video. Let's see. I thought it was brilliant. The stuff with Jeremy Irons on the moon. I mean, my God. That's right, CH. I love what you wrote. It was so fresh, in all caps. I couldn't agree more. Oh, Nishan, you should totally check it out. It's fantastic. So yeah, I love Watchmen. Great show. If you've never watched Watchmen, there's so much stuff coming out all the time. It might not be worth your time to go revisit it because it's never going to return. But I thought it was really good. Yahya Abdul-Mateen was in it, and he was phenomenal. Yahya Abdul-Mateen. I heard, by the way, that I'm going to get in trouble. Okay. I heard that if someone were to offer Yahya Abdul-Mateen this new exciting role, I heard that maybe he wouldn't be interested. And so we'll see. That's maybe why it hasn't been announced yet. All right. So anyway. You guys get me all excited. All right, so Damon Lindelof is going to write this or co-write it. And then this woman is going to direct it. I don't know how I feel about this woman directing it. I hope that she does a good job. I would say that I would like to hire someone with more experience and whose work was potentially more interesting the first time that they directed something. But I'm always open to be surprised. I just hope that she was hired for having good ideas, because Star Wars can't afford to make any more mistakes. Let's just be honest about that. I mean, their movies just can't be worse. Just can't be worse. Oh, Brandon, that's so cute. Brandon's like, anyone got any more free memberships there? Gifted memberships? I can see the Dave Chappelle gif. I love it. Dancing Dog 60 says, where is Kevin Feige's Star Wars? That's a great question. I'm sure Kevin Feige is, and he's already putting Michael Waldron on other stuff. Isn't Michael Waldron supposed to be writing a Star Wars movie? They're like, no, he's writing Secret Wars. So I think Kevin Feige probably volunteered to do a Star Wars movie when his ship was a little bit more sturdy. But I think right now, oh, thanks, Josh. I think right now he's like, look at iReady. Quick, Brendan, click, Brendan, click on the accept gift. That was really cute of you, iReady. Did Brandon get one? Oh, no, Brandon was too busy being funny. He missed it. That was funny. You just got to be a little faster, Brendan. You'll get one. All right, so anyway, yeah, so there's no Kevin Feige Star Wars movie. There's no Patty Jenkins Star Wars movie now for sure. Rian Johnson's still technically developing his trilogy. And where's Taika Waititi's movie? Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on over there. Kathleen Kennedy, her contract, I think her contract should be expiring soon. But honestly, who would want the job? I think like running Star Wars in DC is like, really rough. I'd be like, I really would go to Dave Filoni and be like, do you want it? I mean, I know you have no experience running at something like this to this degree. Although I don't even think Dave Filoni wants it. Because if you run Star Wars, you can't create Star Wars. Because you're too busy being an executive. So he's not going to want it either. That's why you can't get creatives to take these jobs on. Because they want to be creatives. Carter says, Star Wars feels like a TV franchise, and I hope that's not the case if their upcoming movie is good. That's true. I mean, I'm very excited about Ahsoka. I couldn't be more excited about Ahsoka, to be honest with you. Oh, look, quick, Brandon. Max is gifting a membership. Did he gift it to Brandon? These memberships are slipping through your fingers, Brandon. I'm glad others of you are getting it, though. All right, so anyway, we'll see what happens. I hope there's a Star Wars movie at some point. I do enjoy the Star Wars universe, and I would like to see a Star Wars movie, a Star Wars story told with the epic grandeur of a movie. Although I feel like a lot of the movies are going down in terms of the quality of the visuals, and I think that the line between movie and show is blurring. So I'm a little nervous about that. So let's just see what happens. But let's see. So what do you guys think? Does this sound good to you guys? Benioff and Weiss quit, Marco, because they couldn't take it. They were like, they had such a bad time at the end of Game of Thrones. Thanks, Bruce Wayne. By the way, did you see that I called one of you used the name Kevin Feige, and someone used it as evidence that I was talking to Kevin Feige because I said thanks Kevin Feige to a stream to one of you. So now apparently I also know Bruce Wayne. Crazy. But yeah, they quit. They're not doing anything. They're just counting their Game of Thrones money. I really liked House of the Dragon though. What a hit. What a hit. What a revival for the brand. It was. See, look at the break that took. People swore they would never come back, and they did. So maybe Kathleen Kennedy's crazy like a fox. Hey, Logan, I'm glad you made the live stream. Maybe Kathleen Kennedy's crazy like a fox, and she's taking a ridiculously long break intentionally so. Maybe she's making all these films fall apart and not get made. I'm glad you're having a good time, Elliot. Me too. Bo says, I like the Dave Filoni verse and not the other shows. I like the Dave Filoni verse too. I agree. I like it. And I think that he has so much canon that he built up over the animated series that is, people are really enjoying it. By the way, I'd like to say on a side note, I'm loving Andor. Like, I love it. There's absolutely nothing to discuss except how good it is. And also, it's so slow. It's so ridiculously slow. But when he was running around that resort town this week and K2SO showed up, my favorite droid, I was pretty happy. It wasn't K2SO actually, though. I was like, there's not even a hint that it's K2SO. Give me a hint that it's K2SO. Don't you think when all those other people were running, he should have sat down? I would be like, all those men kind of are like your ethnicity in the same age range. Sit down, or everyone's going to think you're with them. Oh, it was good. All right, yes, Max, let's get on to the Conjuring story, and then you can ask me anything that you would like. That was a great, and we got shirtless Diego Luna as well. All right, I'm only human. All right, story number 3. Hold on. Boom, baby. That's right. The Conjuring 4 is being made, or at least, so here's the thing. If a movie has a writer, that's a very good sign that it's actually moving forward, which is why I'm skeptical of Man of Steel 2, which doesn't have a writer or a director. They're just literally just thinking about it. So anyway, they are doing more than just thinking about The Conjuring 4. Juan says, the cameo from Dave Filoni universe in the last episode. Who was the cameo from the Dave Filoni universe in Andor? Was it the judge eating pistachios? Because I never watched the Star Wars animated shows, and everyone was like, oh, do you see that Filoni cameo? And I was like, who are you talking about? Hold on, let me just find out. I'm glad you're having a good time, Prince Zodiac. I just need to find out who this is, and then we'll talk about The Conjuring some more. It was the Empire bureaucrat? The guy yelling at everybody? Oh, that's lame. But I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm glad you liked it. Enjoy your moment of glory, Michael of the Matrix. I'm glad you paid $2 for that. I blocked you and I got $2 from you. All right, so anyway. So yes, The Conjuring 4 is going to be made. It's going to be awesome. I really am happy. So the writer is the guy who's writing Aquaman 2. So I guess that James Wan and Peter Safran, who are producing Aquaman 2 and the first Aquaman movie and the Conjuring verse, feel pretty good about his script. They're like, this is a great script. It's a really, really good script. So let's hire this guy. I'm glad, Ryan. I'm glad I'm helping your work out. So they're like, okay, we're gonna hire him to write The Conjuring 4. So good for him. That's great. Being a screenwriter is a tough gig. You want to keep getting that. You want to keep getting that. Those opportunities, and it's really great if a producer or director likes your work because they'll keep hiring you. So this is a small headline, but the thing that made me the happiest was not only that they were making The Conjuring 4, but they said that while they don't have deals yet, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are expected to return. Mika, Gary Doberman, that's a great question. I'm so glad you remembered him. Gary Doberman graduated to directing, as you might recall. So that's why he's not writing. He wants to direct his own stuff. But I feel at the very heart of the Conjuring films are Ed and Lorraine Warren, as played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. By the way, Patrick Wilson's also in the Aquaman movies, which I love. I think Patrick Wilson's a great actor, very underrated. Who was in the Watchmen movie, by the way? But yeah, so I think that their romance and the coziness between them and their bond is just really wonderful. So I'm excited about this. I think that because they have a writer and they're clearly writing a script that features Ed and Lorraine Warren, that's wonderful for Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga because their agents are like, we're going to sign a deal. We're definitely going to sign a deal because you need my actors to make the movie. But, I think that they both need the franchise too. So I think they're not going to be jerks about it. It's not like they don't want to come back. But I think that, everybody realizes their value, which I believe is very strong. I mean, we did a watch along for The Conjuring 3, remember? Because it debuted day and date on HBO Max. And I had a good time. I thought it was fun. And the whole reason the movie worked was because of these two. That's why it worked, in my opinion. Hey, Emilio. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. Hold on. So it's 7:06. You may ask me anything that you would like until 7:16, and then I'll do some shout-outs. I want to make sure the subscribers who can participate today get the full experience. And then I will drop the Ant-Man breakdown. Mish says, don't really like horror. I'm not a huge horror fan myself, as you know. I like story horror. Which I guess is why I like the Conjuring movies. Ryan says, your Conjuring 2 review is the first BTT video I ever watched back in 2016. Really, Ryan? So this story is near and dear to me. That makes me feel so nice. I love it when you guys remember, your first video that got you into it. And it's really, really very interesting and meaningful to me as well. So I'm glad you shared that. Nico says, Warner should hire David F. Sandberg to direct The Conjuring 4. Annabelle 2 was great. It was great. I loved, and also I like the Shazam movies quite a bit. I loved the first Shazam. Michael Chavez doesn't have what it takes. Conjuring 3 showed it. Maybe he'll get there. But I do feel the films have gotten a little bit weaker. So I do hope they return to a position of strength. All right, let's see here. Yes, Xtina. It was very sad about Leslie Jordan, particularly the way he passed, that he had a medical incident which caused him to have a car crash and unfortunately to perish. That's very sad. Tim Kelly says, has Dr. Doom been cast? Love your reviews and breakdowns. You got me into Marvel. Oh, my pleasure. Keep up the great work. We'll know very soon. The rumor is that he's going to show up in Black Panther 2. So unless it's just a tease where it's just his helmet or something, maybe he has been cast. I've been hearing rumors of him being cast or looking to cast him for a while. Eric says, like Nev and Scream. Oh, that's touche, Eric. Nev Campbell, she played Chicken with the Scream producers and lost. We'll see how the movie does without her. Samuel Johnson says, are you going to review the whole Rings of Power? No, it's too late. If I don't do something right when it drops for the most part, or the week of, and I'd have to watch all those episodes, I just don't see it happening. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I know that some of you really enjoyed the show, but I think it's on. To me, I'm just much more into House of the Dragon. Trisha says, Grace, how much do you think Kevin Feige makes? He should be a billionaire. Oh, that's very funny. I don't think he's a billionaire, but I'm sure he's compensated for his extreme legendary work. Jay King says, which do you prefer, Game of Thrones Season 1 or House of the Dragon Season 1? Personally, I prefer House of the Dragon Season 1. I would agree with that. I do think that House of the Dragon Season 1 was better. But, it's cheating a little bit because it's building on Game of Thrones. But it was very sophisticated. I really liked it. I do feel that maybe they moved a little too fast through time and we didn't get to spend enough time with characters. I think a lot of times when characters would perish or something would happen, although that's not true. When that stuff with Lenore happened, I really was emotionally invested. So I love it. I think it's a great show. That's what DC should be, in my opinion. Charlie the Alana Stan says, do you think the Eternals will be in Secret Wars? I'd be surprised. They're just taking up space, man. Don't put Kit Harington in that movie. It'll torpedo it. Alex says, do you think they'll reveal who's playing Dr. Doom in one of the Wakanda Forever credit scenes or just tease Dr. Doom? Oh, that's what I was just talking about. We'll see. And you know what? I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want to ruin it. I really want to go back to having surprises in the theater. Joanne says, still holding out for Ambush Bug. Yeah, that's a very obscure character. But you never know these days. The Enchantress is my favorite trailer reactions are from from the one I do the jumps. Thanks. I do love getting scared with you guys. Apparently, I didn't even realize I was doing it. But I apparently jumped a whole lot in my watch along for House of the Dragon with the big finale. So one of you clipped it and put it on social media, and I was like, oh, did I do all that? That's hilarious. And so that was a lot of fun. Antonio says, Grace, any tea on Blood of Zeus season 2? I know they're working on it, and I know that they might get more than just one season. But you should. I don't know where it is, but I think it's going to be coming soon. I loved that first season. I'm excited for that to come back. All right, let me see. Let me see if I missed any other questions. Any super chats or stuff? Journey Trials and Joy says, what do you have against DC? 1 second. We're getting real today. We're getting real today. Hold on, where'd it go? Don't worry, I'm going to answer your question. Oh, wow. I'll get to you in a minute, Joel. That's very nice of you. Oh, my goodness. Sorry about this. Okay, Journey Trials and Joy says for $4.99. I like that you 1 cent under $5. What do you have against DC? Seems like much more critical thought than Marvel. Is it personal or just your opinions? I have to tell you that it really just depends on what you're a fan of, what you perceive me to be more harsh on. Because I'm often told that I'm too harsh on Marvel, which is brought up a lot. For instance, I did not say only positive things about the Quantumania trailer today. I said it looked like a CGI world. So I think, am I a little harsher on DC? That might be true, but that's because I love DC so much. I am a huge DC fan. They are my favorite comics. Batman and the X-Men. I also really care for Superman. And, I really have a very high ideal of what I want. But I'm honestly telling you that I think that I'm glad that you're emotionally invested in our discussion, but I think you might be having a little bit of personal baggage on there. And because honestly, from my perspective, I get called a DC hater and a Marvel hater, whatever project is up. Like, really. Let's see here. Thanks, Millie Joe. I appreciate that. Hector, I got some big comic book stacks this week. Hector Vaga says, can you do a video of upcoming Disney Plus shows? With She-Hulk done and Andor half done, I need to know what's next. I will think about that. I have some other stuff planned. I did write out my Red Hulk video and some other cool videos, but there's like all this stuff now dropping this week. So I'm getting on schedule this week. I'm glad Ant-Man didn't drop at night because I need to be able to get up on time. So I'm glad about that. So Juello29 says, just wanted to say that ever since 2016, you have been with me through so much. Thank you always for doing what you do. Many thanks. That is so kind of you. And that just makes me feel so nice. I have to tell you, I love the YouTube platform because I can interact with you guys directly. It's one of the reasons I love Twitter so much and live. I've come to really love live streams too. At first I didn't get live streams, but now I'm like, I get it. And this interaction, I can't tell you what a difference it makes in my life. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of my life. Dancing Dog 60 says, why do you think Harrison Ford and how it respects? I'm waiting. I will do that video, Dancing Dog 60. I've written it out. I don't think they'll ever recast T'Challa, but I'm hoping for a variant. Shay says, what are your predictions for those empty Phase 6 slots? Let's see. I can't do it off the top of my head. I apologize in terms of, because, I just have a lot of things. I have a lot of other people to get to. But Shay, I think that basically, projects that are, that are coming soon, they should get those spots. Like, I heard a great little thing about Black Panther too that I think I'm definitely not going to ruin because it was such a funny little thing. It's a little thing, but I just loved it so much. I want you to be surprised in the theater. But I'm glad the movie still has some things that have not been ruined. Okay, at least for you. All right, let me make sure I get to everybody's questions. Jesse the Good Witch says, in today's movie landscape, do you think it will ever be possible to have the pseudonym of Alan Smithee return? For those who don't know, that was the name directors would use if they hated their work. I don't really think anyone releases anything these days that someone dropped out of. I feel like Alan Smithee wasn't even used that much anyway, and it's a real prima donna thing to do. Like, I hate this so much, I quit at the last minute, and then I'm going to put this scarlet letter on it. It's like, just own up to it. Everybody, no one's going to be like, I wonder who Alan Smithee is. Also, maybe that's the other thing. In today's world where everybody knows everything, even fans, you can't really hide behind a nom de plume. Okay, let's see here. Daniel says, hey Grace, yesterday was my 22nd birthday. Oh, happy birthday. And watching Movie Mouth was a very good way to celebrate. That's so nice. Thank you for spending part of your birthday with me. That makes me so happy. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me make sure I got. Carter says, what was her name who directed Candyman? Nia DaCosta. Do you think she can jump into the Oh, she'd be a great choice for that. But she's doing the Marvels. I really liked her directing choices. They were some of the strongest I've seen. You know, when she got the gig to do the Marvels, I was not surprised. You know, unlike this Ms. Marvel lady. When she got the gig, Nia DaCosta, I was like, she should get the call. She's fantastic. Although it's so different, the tone, I'd be curious to see if she can do that. All right, I think I've answered all the super chats and stuff. Let me see. Oh, no, there's another one. It Will Be Okay says, what do you think will come first? X-Men or Man of Steel 2? That's hilarious. That is funny. Your LOL is good. I think we will meet a mutant from the X-Men before Man of Steel 2. Let's see here. Josh says, is Lake Bell in Black Panther 2? She is. I'm not going to talk about anything else about it, though, because I want you to be surprised. Reddy, who gifted so many memberships today, says, I love DC. Justice League, the animated series, is a masterpiece, but their movie department is a mess. I agree with that. Thank you for all your work. My pleasure, Reddy. And I love the Harley Quinn animated series. You know, I try so hard to give, I guess you know what? Another reason I might be very, maybe a little bit harder on DC is that I'm tired of having my dreams crushed. I'm tired of feeling like, oh, we're doing it. Oh, no, we're not. Oh, we're doing it. No, we're not. Like the Batman is like such a phenomenal movie. I love the Batman. The Batman is one of the best comic book movies ever made, period. And yet, why are we still stuck in this other crap? It's just infuriating. Logan says, I love your channel so much. Who is your favorite Marvel superhero? I know your favorite DC is Batman. Thank you, Logan. Yes, by far and away, Batman. I love Batman. I'm also partial to Damian Wayne. Big Damian Wayne fan. I'm buying Harley Quinn comic book this week, which is unreadable just because Damian is on the cover. They didn't even say he was in the story, but I was like, he might be, so I'll buy it. My favorite Marvel superhero? Well, I love the X-Men, as you know. So the X-Men for sure. I'm a huge X-Men fan. I take them very seriously, which is why I got super upset when they made some changes to the mutantdom with the Ms. Marvel change. And you know, I got very angry. But yeah, so I guess the X-Men, and I like all the X-Men. I like them all. My opinion on who's the best X-Men changes with who's writing. And the X-Men comics were really good for a hot minute, and now they're awful again. But I'm still buying some of them. I like what's going on in the Void or whatever, you know. I like the story where Sync, Darwin, and Laura X-23 went into that place and were there for like 100 years. That was really cool. But then, of course, they didn't do anything with it. All right, I think I got everybody's comments. Let's see here. Hold on. Thanks, Mark. That's really sweet, Mark. I like your picture. I can click on them. Oh, that's good. What are your expectations for The Nun 2? Do you think it will be a big event? I don't think so, because people didn't like the last one, unfortunately. All right, let me see. I got some other things here. All right, here's one. Raphael says, hi, Grace. I wish I could know all the currency signs so I can know where you guys are coming from. Raphael says, hi, Grace. What's your favorite holiday between Thanksgiving or Christmas? Ooh, interesting. I guess Christmas, because to me, Thanksgiving is like the Christmas pregame show. Right? I'm like, oh, it's the pregame show. Oh, it's time. Was there a super chat? Okay, Oscar says, can you rank all the new Phase 4 characters after Black Panther 2? Yes, I will do rankings at the end of the year for Marvel for sure. Mark said, oh, I got Mark's. Thank you, Mark. I got Nico's. Mario says, what MCU film will She-Hulk feature in first? Well, this will be a little preview of my upcoming videos, but I believe she will be in the Kang Dynasty first, based on what I'm hearing. Ibrahim says, when will we get the Avatar Way of Water trailer? I believe that will be in front of Black Panther 2. Maybe that's why they did Quantumania now. Matthew says, Grace, was this your career aspiration when you went to film school, or did you fall into this type of reporting? I had an opportunity to do YouTube stuff, and I decided to do the reporting that I would want. And so I guess to some degree, I guess you could say I fell into that, but I've always been interested in how movies are made in the business since I was going to the movies as a child. My parents would fill me in on what was going on, which I really like to hear about. Oh, here's Trisha. Florence Pugh getting 6 figures from Marvel, worth every penny. Let's see here. Steven Serter says, who would be the ideal X-Men team for the MCU? The 90s team? I just want Cyclops to get some respect. Put some respect on his name. I know Taron Egerton wants to be Wolverine, but I think he'd be a great Cyclops. I'm tired of Cyclops being a joke. But that's what I'm looking for. I just don't want them to be kids, too. If they're teenagers, I'm going to throw up. Robo Striker says, would you rank all the movies for the multiverse saga? The 3 of them? Whew. Okay. What was it? It was No Way Home. Loki was part of it, right? I even forget which ones that are. Jake the Breadstick says, hey Grace, what X-Men comics would you recommend? You could read some of the big Jim Lee ones from back in the day that he illustrated. Those were really good. Atom Sphere, I'm going to go back. Age of Apocalypse is fantastic. Matthew, you retracted your message. I'm sorry I didn't get to it there. Rodney Dollar says, will you review Run, Sweetheart, Run? Probably not, to be honest with you. I think, it might be too small. Where is the other super chat? I don't see the other super chat. Adam Sphere, your super chat disappeared? Oh, my goodness. Okay, here, let's see here. Joel Kinnaman would be a pretty good Cyclops, Michael. All right, Jonas says, hey, Grace, since you reminded me about The Walking Dead during San Diego Comic-Con, what are your thoughts on the series as a whole? I couldn't watch that show. It was too gruesome for me. But I think it might have stuck around maybe longer than it needed to, but it'll always be iconic. Alex Day says, since Matt Reeves doesn't want a shared universe and Superman doesn't work in a realistic setting, why do you still want the Batman to be the start? I feel that Superman could. I would love to have a semi-realistic take on Superman. I think that would be really interesting. I feel it can be done. All right. Okay, let me try and answer some non-member questions, just subscriber questions. All right, Shell says, Grace, would you say Shang-Chi is the best Phase 4 movie to come out yet? Yes, but I think Black Panther 2 might beat it. But I would say that Shang-Chi is the best one so far. For sure, I loved Shang-Chi. That bus fight was amazing. VTTV says, hey Grace, will you cover the Santa Claus TV show? I know a lot of other reporters will not cover it because it's not a big Marvel or Star Wars show. And will you cover it weekly like She-Hulk? VTTV, I don't know if I'll cover it weekly. I think you're talking about the new Tim Allen show, but I will review it because I love at least that first movie. Dandrick says, hey Grace, you made a great video explaining producer roles, but now I can't find it and I want to show it to my wife. Oh, I'm sorry, Dandrix. It might have been talking about like maybe DC. Maybe it was one of those things because I wouldn't have made a producer video all on its own. I'm so sorry about that. If you have a question, you can DM me on Twitter and I can hopefully see that. Cosmix. Oh, hey Cosmix, I saw you on Twitter the other day. Nice logo. I can't talk about, I appreciate what you're saying, but I don't want to talk about other people in the space because I don't like when people talk about me. But, your comment there is for everyone to see. And I think, it's, you do bring up a point. Let's see here. Adam Sphere says, my super chat asked what your plans are for covering White Lotus season 2. Oh, I'm not going to cover it, Adam Sphere. I might tweet about it, but it's just a different type of show. I don't see myself covering that. Facilla says, Grace, do you think The Way of the Water will be revolutionary as the first Avatar? Well, you can't say never underestimate James Cameron anymore after the last Terminator movie, which was so bad. But, and it was his idea to do that to John Connor. However, I still think he's pretty savvy. So I think it's too early to tell. But I got to tell you, I think that trailer is pretty good. Brandon says, Grace, do you ever see yourself leaving New York? Oh, it's too hard to talk about stuff like that. I'm not that type. I mean, I totally understand that some people like to talk about stuff like that, but I don't like to talk about stuff like that because, it's impossible to tell what the scenarios will be. But I will say, like, for instance, just to give you a little bit of an understanding about me, when I was growing up, I considered having a diary. But then when I reread what I wrote, I was like, this is just a lot of emotions. I don't want anybody looking at this and thinking I was just a bundle of emotions. So I tore it up and destroyed it and never kept a diary again. So I'm a real bottom line. I mean, not to say that I don't have emotions, but I'm a real bottom line, let's get down to it point person. So I don't really like to think about stuff like that. But I do appreciate, Brandon, your question, even though you didn't get a membership. Let's see here. Andrea Butt says, dogs or cats? I actually do not like pets, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want a pet myself. I like both of them, but I have a family member who reminds me a lot of a cat, so I like cats for that reason. I think cats are adorable. I once made a video with kittens, and they were so cute. Hey, Nathan, thanks for joining Movie Club. We'll be watching Aliens this Sunday night. Sunday. No problem, Cosmics. I totally understand where you were coming from. Although I would advise you not to talk about other scoopers. I just don't think it's worth it. Or other reporters, or whatever, or influencers. Because, I think, stay in your lane. Be the influencer you want to be. Let's see here. Mikey Bray says, what do you think about Twister 2? I recently rewatched Twister, and I still think it's not great. But it's a good idea for a movie, I'll tell you that. Nathan, I'm glad you're excited to join Movie Club. Pseudonym, that's a funny name, says, any news on Sandman 2? What would change its fate in limbo? I gotta tell you, maybe if it got some awards nominations, but it's been too long at this point. I think they just don't want to spend the money. Juan says, would you ever write a book, maybe on how to report the entertainment business or how to prepare for the reporting business? Again, never say never, but I don't see that at any time in the immediate future, because it would take so much time. Darwin says, got my new badge. Any BTT merch coming soon? Hopefully, I'm hoping to have some stuff for Thanksgiving, for the holidays. Ariana, is Lisa Rinna doing more bad stuff on social media? I don't know. Kathy Hilton shouldn't have thrown down the gauntlet like that. Kathy Hilton said she wasn't coming back if Lisa Rinna and Erica Jane were both back. I'm like, whoa, Kathy. She should have just said, let's see, and then just said that behind the scenes. But now she's made it a them or her situation. VTV says, I love your videos, Grace. Mark my words, one day I'll get a membership. No worries. Do what you can. I'm so glad that we got to talk today. CeeLo says, Cavill said he wanted more movies before he fell to anti-life. I truly believe this has been in the works. I don't doubt for a second that Henry Cavill wants to make more Superman movies, but that's half the battle. The other thing is that Warner Brothers Discovery needs to say yes. And I think right now they're only considering it. And I think part of that considering is, once again, to help the Black Adam movie that they did make and did spend a lot of money on. Ricardo says, good afternoon, Grace, friends and everyone. That's so polite, and I love it. Love this channel. That makes me so happy. Let's see here. Luna says, I didn't know who Henry Cavill was until last week. Really? Let's see here. Jay King, I didn't see your last super chat. This thing. Did I miss the super chat? Oh, here it is. I saw an article saying that the Oscars desperately need to become cool again, but I disagree. They shouldn't try to be cool. They should just focus on celebrating films. I agree with that, Jay King. I'm sorry I missed that. I'm glad you called it to my attention. I totally agree. But I think that it's bad that they're last. It's bad that they're so late in the season. And I think that they should work harder to just celebrate film, but they really need to move up. There are too many awards shows. Marvelous. I missed your super chat too? Why the super chats? Why are they doing this to me? They disappear. I'm trying to. Oh, here it is. Marvelous Jack says, Grace, will you do a Beverly Hills Real House show recap? That's hilarious. No, but maybe next season I'll live tweet it. At the commercials. Commercials? I know. Raphael says, if you were to produce a movie, what kind of film do you want to put out there? Love from the Philippines. Thanks, Raphael. I don't know. I think I've become a pretty good editor. I think I'd like to be an executive. Let's see here. Oh, thanks, Ryan. I'm glad you're into Real Housewives of Beverly Hills discussions. Miguel says, Florence Pugh signed a deal for 2 movies, Thunderbolts. Oh, look how much further we've gone. All right, hold on. I'll just do a few more. Florence Pugh signed a deal for 2 movies. Thunderbolts is 1, so could the second one be Black Widow 2 or Secret Wars? It's probably Secret Wars. That would be my guess. Keith, I do not like Big Macs. I'm a chicken nugget kind of lady. With ranch dipping sauce. Although the other day a friend of mine was like, you got to go OG with the sweet and sour. And I was like, do I? Let's see here. Kyle says, I've been a subscriber since 2017 when I was 14, and now I'm 19 turning 20. I feel like I've grown up with you. Oh, that's so sweet, Kyle. That's so nice. Thank you for making me a part of your life. Mika says, Henry Winkler, Atom Smasher cameo thoughts. Too small. I love me some Henry Winkler. Ethan says, does your family ever watch your videos? Oh, yes, my father does. But, they see me all the time. I'm talking to them about this stuff. I'm like, hey, guys, guess what? Hey, Denny B says, best channel on YouTube. I just finished House of the Dragon. Looking forward to your breakdown. Oh, I hope you enjoy it. Oh, I had so much fun with that show. That is a great show. That's incredible. Thanks, Denny. I had so much more fun being able to watch it with all of you. Nathan says, what's going on with their 10-year plan? Will they make one after they find a new head of DC? Or is the 10-year plan not happening? Again, never say never. It's weird covering a group that doesn't act with any modicum of reason. But I think for now, there is no 10-year plan, and they're just greenlighting stuff. They're letting the talent take over, and they're gonna have a lot of deals they can't undo, and they're not gonna be able to do what they need to. Linda says, I really enjoyed the watch along last night. It was my first one with you. Oh, Linda, that makes me so happy. I'm so glad that you did. Louise says, have you seen AMC's Interview with the Vampire? I haven't. But it looked good to me. Right now I'm trying to watch The Watcher on Netflix. That's what I'm watching. But it looked good to me. I'm glad some people seem to really like it. Oh, let's see here. Ariel says, I don't have Twitter, so thank you for making videos about it. My pleasure, Ariel. Let's see. Evan the Movie Fan says, you're the best. Is the press seeing Black Panther 2 this week? Is the social media embargo up this week? No comment. Let's see here. Chico, just finished The Watcher. I know it doesn't end very well, but that's because I think there isn't actually an ending to the actual story, so they're stuck because it's based on a true story. And I think they're taking tremendous creative liberties. I just watched episode 3, though, and I really liked it. I'll go back, Matthew. Jaden says, shout out. I'm doing research for a project at drama school in the UK due tomorrow. Oh, my goodness, Jaden. Why do I do this to myself? By the way, my flatmate fell for the Henry Cavill Insta reel. Now I feel bad for your flatmate. Some people, I have to say, it's wonderful that some of you are so emotionally invested in this. And I guess maybe that's one of the things that makes me feel particularly bad about, you not having your expectations managed. Good luck with your drama project. And I got to tell you, Jaden, sometimes you can't do something early. Sometimes I'll see a movie weeks in advance, and I don't do the review until right before the embargo lifts because things change. I have to feel the energy of the moment. What's happening in the fandom? What am I thinking? Something could come up. I want the review to feel as fresh as possible. So don't be too hard on yourself. I once wrote a vice presidential speech the night before I had to give it to. I won, by the way. But that was crazy. I also wondered why I was doing that to myself. T.R. Kessler says, if I ask nicely, would you review my books? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't review books, but I appreciate you asking. Matthew, where is your chat? I don't see it. Eric Treater says, is it possible for DC and comic covers have reached its financial leverage average peak? These movies are making, but not. Eric, I'm trying to read your question here, but not what is expected for what they cost. I think Black Adam is a real turning point, and we're going to see what that second weekend box office is, and expect them to push very hard for the rest of the week because they know it. I saw some other chats here. Where are these things? Oh, thanks, Dandrix. Thanks for joining. Al Watch says, would you rather explore the deepest part of the ocean or the farthest humans have ever been? Also love your work. I don't want to go any of those places. They seem scary and dangerous. I'm not interested in that. I'm curious to hear what other people think of those areas, but I'm not a first wave type of person when it comes to trying new stuff. Let's see here. Alice says, will James Wan come back to direct Conjuring 4? I don't think so. Bo Abdullah says, hey Grace, is Ant-Man 3 silly? I heard it was pretty silly, but that trailer didn't look that silly. Oh, Matthew, I did see your thing. Can we get merch that says, let's see here? Do I say that a lot? I don't know, because I don't think of myself as saying that, so I would feel weird putting it on merch. Max says, hey, Grace, I was gifted this while my husband and I were about to take off to our honeymoon in Italy. Oh, my goodness, congratulations. Congratulations. Thanks to who did that. We watched your streams together. So very grateful for all the commentary. Oh, congratulations, Max, to you and your husband. And you're having your own little White Lotus adventure. Oh, Italy is so beautiful. I've been there. I loved it so much. There is a mug that says so, I believe, or has the little emojis on it. Let's see here. Raphael says, Grace, who are your top 3 actors should they reboot Superman? It's tough. I think you got to see, like, who's hot at the time, because who knows when that's going to happen. And I'm not against the Henry Cavill one, but you guys got to show up. You guys got to stop asking Warner Brothers for stuff and not watching it. It's very mean. Oh, that's funny, Matthew. Is that what it means? Did I just say it? That's funny. I don't think Elizabeth Olsen's going to be on House of the Dragon. I don't know where that rumor came from. All right, look at it. It's 7:37 already. Oh, my goodness. Look how long we've been talking. All right, let me do some shout-outs. I'll do shout-outs to people who are not members. I'm doing shout-out subscribers. So just tell me where you are, what you're up to, so I can shout out your name. Let's see here. Steven, I can't tell you my top pick for Fantastic Four, or else I would give it away, and then I'll get in trouble. Jorge says, thank you for all your content. I've had the roughest year of my life, and your type of videos have always kept me in a good mood. Jorge, I'm so sorry to hear that, but, I'm really good. I have a friend who has a saying, and what she does is she says, I welcome the challenge. And at first we kind of did it like jokingly, like, I welcome the challenge. But I have to tell you, it made a real difference in my life to say that. And I think when you ever find yourself in a difficult spot, say that to yourself and just realize, sometimes it helps to imagine yourself the star of a movie or of a TV show, and this is just your arc, your origin story. And I say that in a joking way, but I'm like 1,000% serious. Thanks, Tennille. Tristan's in Atlanta making warm stew. Just warm stew and bread. Armix says, shout out from Bosnia. Oh, hello in Bosnia. That's right, Carrie. Welcome the challenge. Let's see here. Fidelis is making beef flautas in Memphis. All the members know the drill here. Luis is in Baja California. Oh, that's awesome. Danzig is in Wiltshire. Oh, hey, Paulo in Brazil. Hugs back to you. Miss Kalanius is in Melbourne, Australia, about to load up your Ant-Man 3 reaction. I know it's very late in Australia, or is it the morning, actually? And I'm going to do the breakdown. It's already edited. It's going to go up right after this. Cyrus says, hi, Grace from Ghana. It is an honor to be part of your stream. Oh, that's so sweet of you. I'm such an honor to have you. Comics is in Fresno, California. Jason says, hi, Grace. Do you want a Big Mac right now? Kidding. What does it say? Appreciate a fellow New Yorker following her passion and doing it's very sweet of you to say, Jason. I really appreciate that. That's so nice of you. Yeah, I just never got into the Big Mac. When I did eat McDonald's hamburgers, I liked the quarter pounder with cheese. I had a Junior's cheeseburger the other day. Wow. Although don't order the medium rare. I was like eating raw beef between hamburger buns. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see here. Nicholas says, kisses from Greece. There's the flag. I'm making Gambit and Moon Knight for Athens Con. Oh, that's so cool. And Fred from Scooby-Doo for Halloween, and it's 2:40 a.m. Oh, I'm sure you're going to look fabulous. Those are such great choices. I love them. Bay says, I am in Providence cuddling with my cat Zelda. Aw. Ghostin says, thoughts on Midnights. As I tweeted, I think all the songs on the album sound exactly the same. I'm sorry, Taylor. I still love you. Ed K says, checking in from Massachusetts, watching with my friends Luna and Andrew. We love your videos. Oh, hi, all of you. That's so great that you're watching together. Chad says, hi, Grace. Home in New York City, watching you on the big screen with a mug of warm apple cider and a donut. Ooh. Oh, I saw your tweet about your braces off. Congratulations, CJ. Although you always had a great smile even with them on. Let's see here. Disco says it's 7:40 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia. Wow, you guys are on another day. Emmanuel says, eating Oreos in Chicago, procrastinating from chores and homework. I've been there. I'm a big procrastinator. Let's see here. Ricardo says, thoughts on Creed 3? Yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. I thought it looked like a streaming movie. I'm a little nervous. I don't know if it's going to have the action that I want, but I thought it was such a rocky story. I was really impressed with it. And I really love Michael B. Jordan. I really love Jonathan Majors. Raton says it's 6 a.m. where he is, and Foam Pen still not yet out of bed. It's 6 a.m. I don't blame you. Thanks for waking up. Nishem says, I love your videos. It's 1:40 a.m. Where is that? 1 second. What got away? In South Africa. Thanks for staying up with me. Hey Wapo. Says Dylan from Phoenix. Is that what that is? Is that abbreviation for Phoenix? Love the channel. Team Black. I love it. Steven, you're in Orlando? Oh my goodness. And you did Haunted Horror Nights at Universal? You must have had a fabulous time. I heard they were very good this year. Let's see here. Cray Cray says, serving myself some chicken soup in Utah. Oh, that's excellent. Joy says, staying up late to catch the live stream with some nachos and soda, and it is so worth it. Oh, that's great, Joy. I love your Wanda picture. Nachos and soda, you say? That sounds quite tasty. I love that fake cheese. I don't even care that it's not real. It's delicious. Let's see here. Oh, Keith, let me go look at the artwork. DM it to me. I've never been to Australia. Who just asked me that? TR, I've never been to Australia. Annie says, delaying starting work to watch the live stream. I appreciate that, Annie. You're awesome. Carlos is drinking a caramel macchiato. And Jeffrey Lane says, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Also, the Conjuring 4 should be based on the true story of the Warrens in Bridgeport, Connecticut. That's awesome. Way to represent, Jeffrey. I love it. Let's see here. And Cosmic says, I'm about to film a movie for a college class that I have, and it's going to be black and white. Oh, inspired by A Werewolf by Night, perhaps? Yuri says, staying hi from the Netherlands. Hey, Yuri. Hey, Red. Treno says, starting the stream from the beginning. But thanks for saying hi. I appreciate it. And Shamar says, shout out from Chester. Have loved your videos since high school. Thank you. And Ariel says, what videos are coming up? Well, I'm about to upload the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer breakdown. I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow. I think that I hear there might be a Guardians of the Galaxy trailer for the holiday special tomorrow, so there'll be a reaction and a breakdown to that. I'm planning to do... I was going to do a what's next for DC. I don't want to tell you too much about what's next because then you guys are sad when I don't make it, which is a great problem to have, and I appreciate that, but I don't want you to be sad. See, I try to be even honest myself. Juan says, just finished work, about to get some tomato soup in Guatemala City. Tomato soup's actually quite tasty. Disco 70 says, hey Grace, check out The Peripheral. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. The fanboy says, I'd love to see your what's next for DC. I'm going to wait until I see the second weekend for Black Adam. I think it's too early for me to say anything. Because, I don't think we can know for sure. I got to see what... You never know. You never know what Black Adam 2 second weekend's going to be. We got to wait and see. Hey, Nikki. Oh, Nikki's saying that. Are you saying that to someone else, Nikki? Let's see here. I hope he's watching. What's Rashawn saying? I didn't see. Natalie says sweet and sour dipping sauce is the best. Well, maybe now. Okay, that's a second vote for it. Alex, the next movie club, we'll end on this. The next movie club will be this Sunday, the day before Halloween, at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're watching Aliens, because we just watched Alien, the last one. But you have to have your own copy to watch along. Paul Dano's Riddler comic comes out tomorrow. I'm excited. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. Thank you so much for joining me for today's live stream, even though it was later. And I want to thank everybody. I opened this live stream up to everybody, and I have to say, for the most part, you were all awesome. And I think that even when you challenged me, you were polite and courteous, and I tried, and I hope that you felt that I did the same in return, and I appreciated the discourse. All right, everybody, bye. See you later. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.